Christians throughout the world are presently observing a 40 days period of Lent. Lent is a period where Christians believe they remember the suffering and death of Jesus Christ to redeem man. During this period, there are some expectations where Christians are supposed to meet up with. And as they go about this 40 days period, they also have some challenges which they faced. Good evening, televiewers. In today's edition of the program Issues, we are going to look at the expectation and challenges faced by the Christians during this 40 days Lenten period. For presentation, I am Sarah Kwam. After the break, I will introduce to you the guests on today's program. You are welcome back as we continue with the program. By my right, I have a wonderful gentleman, which we are going to discuss on some expectation and challenges faced during this 40 days period of Lent. You can send in your contribution using the numbers you find on your screen. You can as well join this discussion live using the Facebook page of Divine Mercy Radio and Television. We say ladies before gentlemen. Good evening, Madam Doris. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you. Just that I cannot say 100% well because of the light issues in Boya. But good evening and thank you for having me once more.
It is a normal situation that we are facing these days in Cameroon. The least bit of rain, there is no light. We say, Ivo, you are welcome. Good evening.
Good evening, Sarah, and good evening, Doris.
Good evening, Ivo.
I'm happy to meet you today, and I extend my greetings to Divine Mercy Television viewers. Some few months, I think that was last month, I went up to Bamenda, precisely in Ginicom. That's my village. And I noticed that a good number of fans of Divine Mercy, especially Issues, that are present there. Oh, wow. So I extend my greetings to the fans of Ginicom, Subdivision and Ginicom. Televiewers, we are very happy to share with you today concerning Lent. And Madam Sarah,
yes.
Back to you.
We extend our greetings to all the followers and televiewers over there at Ginicom. We say we love you all. I'll stay with you. We say, Ivo, what is Lent all about? What do you think when you hear of the words or the season Lent? What comes to your mind?
Well, thank you very much for that question. Normally, Lent is a period of preparation, a period of renewal, and a period that is leading to Easter Sunday. What are we preparing for? Today I was talking about the Passion of Christ, which means the suffering and death of Christ. It is a period where Christians sit down and meditate on the Passion of Christ. Passion means sufferings. All the sufferings that Christ went through in order to save humanity. So during Lent, in the Catholic mission, they go through a period where they carry on prayers, and most effectively in all the days, especially except Sundays, the Christians move and share what we call Station of the Cross. Station of the Cross, there in Station of the Cross, you journey with Christ from each event, one event to another, and reflect deeply on the sorrows, the grief, the sufferings which Christ went through for our sake. So it is purely the period in which we prepare. We try to renew ourselves, because preparation for the coming of the Messiah, preparation for the resurrection, preparation for our own selves, and we reflect renewal. Renewal is a case of changing. John the Baptist used to say, remove the old coat and put the new one. When we journey through Christ in the passion narratives, in the passion story, we should not be the same at the end. We should be able to keep away all what is bad and embrace what we know, what is good, and so that we can be able to resurrect with Christ and become new creation.
It is a period for us to journey with Christ as we journey with Christ, we should also recall some of those things he went through for our sake. And as we recall some of those things, the suffering that he came to die and for us to have an abundant life, we should not be old people with new clothes as we prepare for Easter. I come with you. I am with you now, Madam Doris. What are Christians expected to do during this 40 days period of Lent?
During this, thank you very much, Madam Sarah. During this 40 days period of Lent, we have Christians are expected to do so many things, but those things have been summarized in just 3 things: fasting, almsgiving, and
prayers.
Thank you. Now, the thing is, this prayer, fasting, and almsgiving are very important. When we talk of prayer, we know that normally in our daily lives as Christians, we are supposed to pray. We pray in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. Sometimes some people wake up at midnight and pray, and 3 a.m. and pray, and all of that and all of that. But during this particular period of Lent, you are expected to do more. To pray more than you pray during ordinary time. To pray more than you pray during Easter, during Christmas season, and all of that. This especially goes to those who do not pray often. This is now a call. This Lent period is like a wake-up call for them. They are asking them this Lent period is like telling them that you are supposed to come back to Christ through prayer. You are supposed to build up your prayer life, because we know, Madam Sarah, so many people do not believe in prayer.
Okay.
So many people do not think that prayer works. So many people feel like when you say prayer works, you're just saying something just saying something that is an illusion, just saying something which doesn't exist. But then I want to tell all of us at televiewers today that prayer actually works. And if we should come back to Christ through this prayer in this particular season, especially those who do not pray often, I think it's really going to be a great help for all of us. And then we talk about fasting. Now, most of us, the honest truth is, most of us do not fast. Most people do not even know how to fast. Most people, when you mention fasting, especially the dry fasting, they just start shouting, "Hey, I go fit." So yes, you go fit, because you notice that sometimes during the day, when you have not even had food, sometimes you can go the entire day, from morning when you wake up till evening, till night, you don't eat, and you will not even notice it. But then the minute the day you say that this day I will start fasting, from the moment you wake up, you are hungry.
You're hungry.
The worms in your stomach start speaking. You immediately want food. You just start wanting food. Now that is just, and that feeling will make you think that you cannot fast. You start telling yourself that, hey, it just means I cannot do this thing. You can do it. Why can you stay from morning to night on a normal day without food, and you think that you cannot do it when you are fasting? You can fast. These are just one of the little tactics of the devil to hold us back from fasting. This fasting, what can I say? Fasting is somewhat like, it's like starving yourself from food and water. Now, this is not just about food and water. In this Lent period, the fasting in this Lent period is starving yourself from the things that are holding you back from going to Christ. From the things that are pushing you behind, things that are holding you, keeping you stagnant in one position. It is not necessarily food and water. Because some people, what is holding them back from meeting Christ might be alcohol. What is holding them back from meeting Christ might be the words they say. What is holding them back from going to Christ might be the things they watch, the people they associate themselves with. So you might be saying that, okay, I want to starve myself from food and water from 6 to 6. Meanwhile, your tongue can kill. Meanwhile, the circle of friends that you keep are very unhealthy. Meanwhile, the places that you visit, the things that you watch are not advisable for anybody to watch those things. So you are starving yourself from 6 to 6 from food and water, and you are missing the essential part. So I like to tell Madam Sarah at televiewers that this fasting from food and water is not just about food and water. Fast from the things that are stopping you from seeing Christ. Okay. We move on to almsgiving. We know that normally we give alms, we give offertory in church, but this is the time where we have to increase the alms that we give. As an adult, I don't see the reason why you should go to church and we are seeing 25 francs from you. In all honesty, I don't see the reason why adults should be giving 25 francs. I don't see the reason why adults should be giving 50 francs. Now I understand that the economy is very hard. But then if you as an adult are giving 25 francs, what do you expect your child to give? Sometimes I see some parents, they go to church. I understand that there are some days that you go and you do not have the alms to give. But then one of those days that you actually have, you take 100 francs and divide it into 10. and you give it, you share amongst all your kids, who are you really deceiving? In this period of Lent, Sarah and dear televiewers, we are encouraged to give alms. Not just give alms. You're not coming to, God is not a pauper that you're just coming to throw your leftovers to. He's not a pauper. He doesn't really need your money. You are giving him so that he too can bless you in return. So whatever you are giving, know that alms giving that you are giving, that is what God will use to bless you in return. So in this particular period of Lent, we should increase our alms giving. Now, I've spoken all about offertory. It's not just about offertory in the church. What happens to your neighbor beside you? The orphans, the sick, the handicapped, the helpless, the homeless, the motherless. What happens to all those people? In this particular season of Lent, televiewers, we are encouraged to give these people. Alms is not necessarily money. You can visit an orphanage. Before Lent expires, please let us try to visit an orphanage. Visit the hospital. Visit the maternity. Look for the neighbors around you. Now, it doesn't just suffice to visit the maternity and your neighbors around you are starving. You have done no good. You are not doing anything better to anybody. Start from within you. Start from your family. Because some people in their families, Auntie Sarah, I must tell you, their families have people who are starving. People who come to them for just a piece of bread and they send them away. Start from your family. Start from your circle. Start from your friends. Start from your neighbors and go out of that circle. In this particular season of Lent, give to the hungry. Give to the sick. Donate to Caritas. Caritas in your parish. Caritas in your SCC. Please, in this particular season of Lent and this area, we are encouraged, dear televiewers, to give alms. Alms is not just money. Savon, water, tissue, food, dry rice, groundnut oil, all those things, please. We are encouraged to do all of that in this particular season of Lent.
I have some addition.
Okay.
Yeah. When we talk about aspect of expectations, we think also about the purpose. Why is the church? Why does the church bring the aspect of Lent? Is there any reasons? One of the reasons is that for Christians to reflect on their faith and see how they can grow closer to God. That Christians can be able to reflect, take out a deep, get back into their mind, carry on a very deep meditation, reflect on their faith so that they can go profoundly at the bottom of their heart and then journey fully with God, our Creator. The next reason is that they can repent and then seek forgiveness of their sins. Why do we reflect within the moment, thinking about the journey Christ went through, the sorrowful, the passion story of Christ? We also reflect on our own sin, because it is for the sin of humanity, the sin of mankind, our own sins, that Christ was crucified. Today I just asked the student, why would God permit himself to be killed by human being? The student looked at me like that. I said, yes, I'm serious. Why would God permit himself to be killed by human being? We reflect, go back, and then see that God was able to, he had been able to do everything to please humanity. And now try to bring us back to him until sending his own son to come die for our own sin. It is to show the love God has for mankind. If Jesus Christ can accept to sacrifice himself for us, for our sins, then it is very necessary for us to think deeply that each time we sin, we inflict the wounds in Christ, and that will going to help us to be able to shun away from sin and turn towards God. Again, during Lent, we prepare for the resurrection of Christ. Because one writer said, what? If Christ died on the cross and that was all, then there is no need for Christianity. There is hope, because death is not the end of life. Because Christ resurrected from death, it is a good message for us that all Christians, all of us are going to rise from the dead. That death is not the end. One musician said, what? Les morts ne sont pas morts. Yes. After life, after death is life, there is hope. And we talk about the practice of what we call self-denial, humility, and charity. Self-denial goes to what we call self-mortification. We have to die to ourselves, die to our ego in order to rise with Christ. And then we talk about humility. Now we find situation there is a lot of pride in our community today, even in helping. We are talking about act of charity. People think sometimes they want to give charity. I'm giving to that poor man. They go back to the situation of the Pharisee and the publican and the tax collector and the poor man, the Pharisee and the back in the Bible.
Pharisee and the tax collector.
No, the publicans, and there was a poor man back. There's a big this thing. They just run off my head.
Lazarus.
No, there was a Pharisee, the publican, and maybe the poor man back in the case where
when they came to the temple.
yes, to preach, to talk about Christ. Now we talk about situation of humility in where we get to others. We don't need to renounce it. To get to everybody know that I'm giving charity to this, and charity within this moment is very important. Madam Sarah, excuse me again. There's an aspect which is very important,
Okay.
which is I don't want to take much time, but I think that is important here. Symbolism of Lent. Yes, it goes with one aspect of Ash. It begins with Ash Wednesday, and that Ash Wednesday is talking about aspect of mortality. From death you were born, and death you were made, and unto death you return. It reminds us about aspect of mortality. We are pilgrims of this earth. Life is a journey. We came from somewhere. We are journeying through this earth, and we are going to go back to somewhere. That ashes remind us of that. We reflect again about the cross. That cross which Christ carried. What is the reflection? That reflection on the cross is an act of sacrifice and redemption. Sacrifice that the cross which carried. It is a case of carrying our sin, sacrificing for the sake of all humanity, and a case of aspect of redemption. Through that, humankind has been redeemed. The notion of purple, which is used during the Lent period, is a period of penance, and the last, this is a period of transformation for Christians. It is a period when you are ironing your dress, like that which Madame Doris has put well iron. Lent is a period where we iron ourselves, then the Christian becomes transformed into new creation. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks,
Sarah.
All right.
Sorry.
It's a practical topic, so we just need to be contributing.
I'd just like to say that
yes,
I think that the church has outlined prayer, fasting, and almsgiving, and Mr. Ivo has given such wonderful points. Mr. Ivo, thank you very much for these points. I've learned something. Then I'd also like to say that in all of these things, I think what to me I think is very, very important, to me in particular, is if in this season of Lent you do not show love, you do not have love in your heart, no matter how much you pray, no matter what the amount you are giving, even if you fast from 6 to 6, dry fasting, because some people even use water. If you don't even use water 6 to 6, I believe that in this season of Lent, if you are not showing more love, I think that most of us should show more of love. Sometimes you might not even be fasting. Sometimes you might not even have the money to give. But I think that love covers all of these things. It covers the multitude of these things. In this season of Lent, we should show more love, have more love in our hearts for our brothers and sisters. Thank you, Madam Sarah.
thank you all so much. It is a practical topic. We are all into Lent, and we are all journeying through these 40 days. That is why we keep talking, and we talk to Lent. I am happy we have all listed out many expectations, and we are saying that, like Madame Doris did mention, you start from yourself, start within. Do not start outside, but start your Lenten season from within. Do not skip your household to go and start Lent with another person. Start teaching Lent, start living Lent, start the almsgiving, the fasting, and the prayer session from within, and start teaching it within you. And from there you can throw it back to your neighbors before crossing right far. You cannot just skip this stage. You cannot skip the first stage and go right up. We start from within. And when you are fasting, there's something we want to talk here. You say, I want us to look at this. There are some ways in which we fast these days, and there are some ways in which people think fasting should be done. What are some of those types? What are the different types of fasting?
Actually, there are several types of fasting. I will be able to just name a few.
Okay.
Most of the time when they talk about fasting, many Christians just think about food, and that is all. Recently, Pope Francis, I want to quote him, was trying to talk about we don't concentrate too much on what we call food and drink. There are other pertinent aspects in which people can be able to address our sins and some other attitudes we should think that we can keep up. There are some behaviors, some practices that we take that it's part. When I leave me, that's what I did. So you find that there are some moments we have to go to detach ourselves from some habits. And I will name some of the few type of fasting which I have, which they have to benefit us. One, we talk about water fasting, Madam Doris. Water fasting. That one means that you abstain from drinking water.
Okay.
Yeah. The one called water fasting. You abstain from drinking water. Sometimes I just say that we should not include children because down in our schools,
Exactly.
I want to drink water. But I'm sorry, I can't be able to understand that. Minute by minute, then the next moment they are going out to be. That can move only move into adult.
Rowdy and then people are going in and out. You just become tired as a teacher.
So sometimes I become so I say, oh, it's good for me to, try to understand, into their shoe and understand. So one aspect is what we call water fasting. That is abstaining from drinking water. Another one is juice fasting. Juice.
Yes.
Yes. You grind this juice, that fruit juice that people drink, and then sometimes eat. And so most of the time you say, okay, within this period, I am not going to drink juice. There are some people, it's part of them. Every day they go to the blender, they blend it and drink. So within that moment, they say, I'm not going to. So that is fasting. There is intermittent fasting, and that you give duration. Sometimes you can say 8 hours. Within this period to this period, I am going to fast. Maybe 6 to midday. Yes, that one also. There is alternate day. That is between some days you can eat. Sometimes you say, okay, within this day I can eat this, within this other day I can eat food with less calories. So you alternate. So it doesn't mean that one can run particular program or run particular method of fasting throughout. You can alternate. Okay, within this day, maybe from 6 to 6 a.m. to let's say 2 a.m. I may not eat anything, or I may eat a loaf of bread. Then sometimes for 1-2 days, then the third day I can go to something different. Then we have eat stop eat fasting. Eat stop eat fasting. Yes. Now that one, there is a period where you'll be able to regulate yourself. I'll eat this time, then maybe take breakfast at 6 a.m. to 7 or 7 a.m. to 7:15. Then I stay until let's say 6 p.m. to be able to eat something. So I've eaten within this moment, I stop within this particular period and get this bit. Then there is 12 hours window fasting, 7 to 7.
Okay.
Yes, you give this out within this 12 hours. You may keep that from this 7 to 7 or 8 to 8 and so on. Then we have fasting mimicking, that eating low calorie food from 1000 to 1100 calories. Or there is what we call 3 to 5 days. 3 to 5 days. Sometimes people can regulate particular days. And greatly, there's what we call spiritual fasting. Spiritual fasting, we give the purpose, and that greatly is the period where we are going through now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's spiritual fasting. It is a period of spiritual rejuvenation to revive ourselves.
Yes,
And that involves self-mortification. Self-mortification goes with killing ourselves. I reflect on the situation. I was in the marriage community. They talk about a married brother who was 70 years old in the MIC. He was there in Kenya, in the MIC Marist International College in Kenya, in Nairobi. 70 years old. For 70 days, each time, during fasting for 40 days, he will sleep on a mat for 40 days, and he eats a loaf of bread. He ate a loaf of bread and drink a glass of water, a loaf of bread, a glass of water every day. Now within that particular moment, he goes on deep prayer, deep meditation, and deep reflection. Madam Doris brought up an issue there on aspect of love. Love. Now we can fast even from 1st to 31st. We try to beat the record of Joan of Arc. People will take 2 weeks fasting, dry fasting, and so on.
Yes.
But now, when that love is absent, then there is a big problem. When we talk about aspect of charity too, again, it is also need to in spiritual fasting. We have to go to take that one into consideration. If we read the general prologue by Godfrey Chaucer, we see the nun who we call the prioress, which is like the head of the convent. They said she was very charitable, and Chaucer presented that the nun, the pets were very healthy. The dog, the cat, they were so healthy. Now there are some of us who could be very charitable, but to our pets,
that's true.
our dogs, and then the neighbors We don't even need to go too far to orphanages. There are some people next door to us who do not have something to eat.
That's true.
And then we think that, oh, let me go to where they can see. And then there in our homes, we have more than. And these very homes, people eat and then they throw food.
Yeah.
While others, they don't even have a pinch. So why not get to the next door neighbor and provide, let's say, a meal for that day? That shows love. That shows love. So it goes that out of spiritual fasting. It goes with aspect of prayer, yes. It goes aspect of charity. Charity shows aspect of love towards our neighbors, towards the underprivileged. They are there in our community in abundance. We don't need to go too far. And then again, we need to extend. The extend again, I said, rejuvenation, revival.
Revive yourself.
If we fast for 40 days and we go back like Chief Zebrudaya will say during baptism, you go under the drum of water and come out, you sing hallelujah, hallelujah in baptism, and then you come out, you don't change, it is useless. Fasting becomes useless when it does not build up ourselves and lead us closer to God.
Fasting really becomes useless when it does not achieve or attain its purpose. So we are saying that there are different types of fasting, because one expectation is fasting. During this period, we are expected to pray, fast, and give, and as alms giving.
Let me add one, sorry. That's what we call therapeutic fasting.
Okay.
Therapeutic. That comes, it is prescribed in the hospital. Okay. Sometimes they can be able to, it is being supervised by the medical doctor. Okay. There are sometimes we want to reduce the insulin, for example, for a diabetic patient. They'll say, okay, make sure you don't eat this. That one is therapeutic in order for health. So it's another form of fasting which the medical field should not think that we forgot about them. Yes.
So as we go about our fasting and also praying, joining with almsgiving, let us think, are we fasting spiritually, or we are just fasting to see ourselves as part of those who are supposed to fast? Think of the kind of fasting you are supposed to. Think of the kind of almsgiving you are supposed to. And also remember that you should pray within this period. Those are the three things we are expected to do. Like we are saying, when you pray, do not pray as if you're mocking, but you should pray knowing that your Father in heaven, who sees and knows what you're saying, is there listening to you. And when you fast, you should not fast like there is this reading that you should not fast and put on torn dresses. You should not fast and put on dirty cloth. You should not,
like the people of Nineveh.
Yes, you should not put sackcloth. You should not put arch on your face.
Yes.
You should fast, dress well, smile, and show love. Yes. As you go about giving alms during this period, alms giving do not only end within the church level. Think of those people around you. Have you been able to show them love by giving alms to them, or by doing charitable work with them? This is a period of Lent. We need to show love. We need to do all those things around and within us. Don't go far without starting from within. Now, Madam Doris, I'll come back to you. Why is it that when we talk of fasting, like Mr. Ivo listed one kind of fasting, that therapeutic fasting.
Yes.
Now, what is fasting? What is fasting? Abstaining yourself, right?
Yes.
And during this period, the church has asked us to fast, pray, and give alms.
Yes.
Now, some persons are supposed to journey, and one of the things that they need to do is to fast. But now with this therapeutic kind of fasting, are they allowed to? With their health condition, can they fast? And if they don't fast, is it something which is bad? Is it bad that they are not fasting?
Madam Sarah, I'll begin by taking an example with myself. When I was pregnant with my son, there was a fasting I needed to undertake. We had some prayers in church and we needed to do fasting. That time I was pregnant, my blood level was low, I was sick. I just told them that, I beg, I'll pray with you, but you see this fasting, I'll not be able to do it with you. Now, this doesn't mean that I don't want to fast or I don't support them in this prayer. But then, when you are fasting, you should fast with sense.
Okay.
You should fast with the aim to see Christ, with the aim to observe the principles of Lent, observe the expectation of Lent, without causing harm to yourself. Because there is no need causing harm to yourself. Imagine if I had fasted. Let me take an example, a very controversial example. If that time I was pregnant, I was supposed to fast. I said, okay, I'm going to fast. My blood level was low at that time. I think it was 8% or 7%, I think. I said, no, I'm going to fast. Some people might not see reasons with me. And I fast some food, fast some water, and someday I just slump and die. What will I tell God when I see him? That I was fasting to meet him.
You were fasting to meet him? So we are just saying that when we are not health-wise, when we are not fine for health purposes, do not fast.
And other things you can practice, not necessarily fasting.
Yes, we are just telling ourselves that if you have a medical situation that do not warrant you to fast, please do not fast. There are other things you can fast. You can fast against gossiping. You can fast against lie-telling. You can fast against backbiting. There are many things we can fast against. We can stay it up. You can fast against alcoholism. If you used to take 5 bottles a day, drop to 1. You can fast against...
You mentioned that one time. Someone said, if not that one, then when I leave, I know go church again.
Those are some of the ways by which we can fast during this period. If health-wise you are not permitted to stay the whole day without eating, you are not permitted to flow with this fasting period, please do not fast. I'll take this contribution. Hello, wonderful people. Good evening to you all. Lent is indeed a special period, and Christians use this period to connect in different ways to God. Journeying with Christ in his suffering and death on the cross. While I agree that fasting is important, I think it must not be exaggerated in a way that instead lead to ill health. Some parents even force young children to fast when they do not understand why they are carrying such actions. Children should be taught the importance of fasting and allowed to do so at the appropriate age when they are reasonable enough. This contribution is coming from Madam Fomucha Mirabe. Thank you so much, my able host. All right, like we are saying, now parents are forcing their children to also journey during this period, to also fast. Fasting should be part of their routine during this period. What can you explain when it comes to that? Because these days you go to most houses, they are on a normal Christian. They want to put a normal way of life, a normal life standard. Everybody is supposed to fast from this hour to this hour, and they are involving their children within this routine. So now, what can you advise them? Like
children who are not even up to 18.
I want to reflect. Now we go and talk about children. Now, which level do we talk? Okay. If it is a case of those who are less than, let's say, 17 years, I think now there is a problem. You cannot ask a child of 6 years or 9 years to fast. The child does not understand what the church doesn't even advise.
The church is some 18 and above.
Yeah, the church is prescribed those people who could be exempted from fasting. 16 below, or 17 below, and then we also have those who are sick. I'll give some issues on ill health here. I have that, and also the elderly. You cannot ask a pa or a grandma or grandpa who is 80, 90 years to fast. Yeah, they have been doing that, but sometimes they are very fragile, and because they are very fragile, we'll take care of that. Now, fasting again, children from let's say 0 to let's say 10 to 15 or 12 years, for example, or let's say what the church prescribe. If you take a child from the citation in there, it's like a child of 6, 7, 8, 9 years. Now, a good number of them, they are being exempted because before you carry on activity, you should be able to understand what you are doing. The church sees that they are still very fragile. And we need to, there are other things that they need to learn other aspect of the church that they need to learn to bring them up so that they can grow in the aspect of their spiritual life. I think that it is not proper for parents to force their children to ask for fasting. They may, in a different mode, try to educate them to see what they can do. They can guide them, yes, for the children. Place things within their reach and guide them. That maybe if you want to improve on themselves, you can maybe you can reduce the quantity of food that you are eating and so on. Let's for those who are between 12 to let's say about 17 or 18 years, you may reduce and allow them. Yes, but to make sure that you force. Fasting is not force. When you force, the purpose it is being destroyed. And it should come from free will. It's like sometimes we used to go to church and you remove money and give to your child to go and give us psalm. The child should be able to understand that when you give money, let me keep some reserve. That I go and give for offering. Like how they used to keep reserve. I'll go and buy this. I'll buy my bolo bolo during Christmas. I'll buy this. They should be able to understand that you teach them that doctrine as for fasting is good. But how do we carry on from this age to this age? But you as a child, you can be able to see some of the things as we talk different ways. If mama is saying that it is not good for you to come back, then come back in the house and you go play far off. You know, each time you jump, they come back, they have to look for you to after 6 o'clock. Then you are not there. I can put it that make sure that within this period, they should not come and look for you again. It may not involve food, but it's some moral aspect which is going to bring some discipline to that child. If it is that way, we go look at it in multi-dimensional, in such a way that it's going to make the child to be able to understand that that obedience is a virtue, that self-discipline is a virtue. I think it is good to an extent.
That's true.
Yeah, but through counseling and not force.
I also like to contribute that there are other ways parents can make their children to observe, to be in the spirit of Lent. Take them for Stations of the Cross. You can take them that way. You are teaching them how to observe the period of Lent. Take them to do almsgiving, to do charity. Don't just go alone or go with your meeting members. Just take a day, take your family, this family, the family of Madame Sarah, going to do a charity somewhere in so and so place. That is that way you are involving them in that spirit of Lent, not just forcing them to fast.
We are saying that you can teach them how to pray and educate them the reasons behind fasting and why they should do it. As you teach them, also journey with them. I can remember when we were small, back then, there are days we look for our bush lamb to go for Station of the Cross. There was this day when we went there at 2 a.m. We thought that it was because it was normally 4:30. 2 a.m. That is how my papa go. Una wiko will go.
That's how my mom does
Getting
it too.
there, it was 2 a.m. So if you have not been going with your child to Station of the Cross, the child is missing out something. When you get up that morning to go, wake that child up, move with that child, so that you journey with that child during this 40 days period. And you are teaching the child a very significant something that will not leave his mind or her mind anytime soon, because they said that train up a child in a way he should grow, and when he is old he shall not depart from it.
I understand that there are a good number of parents who are doing a great job so far as that is concerned.
Okay.
As you were just speaking, I reflected 2 incidents which I had. Sometimes I used to leave from Great Support, pass through the bush road, and then move to the burial ground to Boya Town. One day when I hit my step in the steep Bugatti, we're all fried, not seeing the road, imagining the good path that early morning that I was alone before around that area of the graveyard. But with the courage each time that I'm going to pray, I pass through that place every morning for 40 days and it doesn't bother. But I reflected on an issue. There are some parents who are doing marvelous job there. What do? They carry their kids there to church and it becomes part of them. And I cited one day to my students, I said, even sometimes you find some family coming and then even dogs attend Stations of the Cross. Then if they can come and then the dog is there, then what more of you, a human being, that you think that is very, very important. So there is a period of reflection and it is a period that we need to sacrifice. Sometimes we talk about some children, being forced in a domain again. There are some there that you have to force them.
Okay.
Really, there are some you have to force. If you ask them to take their own decision, you know, this one is different. To attend mass, Station of the Cross, we have to. We have to. Sometimes you push them. I remember when I was in Cali School Boy Town, Led Maizio, may his soul rest in peace, and Philip Chinjo, they were spurred up greatly, be able to instill the faith in which a good number of us are still practicing now in different churches. You know, we're giving numbers, and then you come back the following morning, very early on Monday morning, you give your numbers, and those who don't present themselves their numbers, they didn't go to church. And that was really serious. Now, within this period of Lent, we are all encouraged, and those people are lasting behind. It is a peak of the church season, even greater than Christmas. A good number of people do not know. Easter is the greatest feast of the church, where we have to jack that to our own kids, because when we bring them from the beginning right up, they are going to be able to grow up as good Christians. Not just the faith, it needs to be practiced. It's not just a lip service. We bring them from childhood and they grow up to, it's like a baton.
Yeah.
Yes. The patriarch Abraham handed the baton to Isaac did that to Jacob. When our parents do that to us, we can be able to hand that to our kids, to know that going to church and going for prayers is also very, very important.
I want us to tell something.
Yeah.
We are expected to do almsgiving, fasting, and prayers. But during this period, there are some challenges that Christians face that is really preventing them to attain some of these objectives. I would just want you to list some of those challenges that Christians face during this period that is preventing them to meet up to their expectations.
Some of those challenges, Madam Sarah, I would say it begins from within. Some Christians find it hard, some individuals find it hard to let go of those bad habits.
Okay.
I know they say old habits die hard, but then some Christians, they don't even try to kill those habits at all during this period of Lent. Some of them get the spirit of forgetfulness a lot, like we mentioned, fasting here.
Yeah.
Some people, like today is Friday, we're supposed to fast today. Some people will just wake up and they have breakfast. Otherwise, they'll be like, hey, I began for fast today. Some people, the company they keep. Some Christians, the company they keep. I know that sometimes as a Christian, you tell yourself, oh, I want to change this person. But the honest truth is, there's this language there's this saying that bad company corrupts good character. I've never heard them say good company corrupts bad character. It's always bad company corrupts good character. So in this period of Lent, do not think that you are going to keep hanging around that company and you will see positive changes. No, in this period of Lent, if that company is holding you back, then let it go. Some people cannot control their appetites. Some people cannot see food and let the food pass. Some people, it's not just food. Some people, it's not food, but some people, it's alcohol. Especially alcohol in this season of Lent. Some people cannot let alcohol go. They say themselves, oh, just one bottle. On the days that we have to fast, just one bottle. I think these are some of the reasons. I have so many others, but then let me let Mr. Ivo give his own contribution.
You have 2 minutes, sorry. Some of those challenges that prevent Christian
We
from
have
eating it.
physical health. When we talk about aspect of fasting, when we go on water fasting, without dry fasting, it can bring dehydration, which will affect the kidney. We have electrolyte. We have malnutrition, which is going to lead again to something very disastrous. We have blood sugar, the control of blood sugar, and we have some kidney strains. We have blood pressure and so on. The fluctuation of blood pressure. Now, what we see is that the physical challenge, those people have health problems. If we go on that aspect, it may affect their health.
Okay.
And that is something very, very grievous, where we advise that even those people who are sick, they should not go on aspect of fasting, because instead of helping them spiritually,
You're killing them.
you're going to kill them physically. And then the strain, how do they take their drugs? They must eat. They must drink water. Sometimes some of them are really very fragile, and as they are fragile, they don't even eat. So we barely instead encourage them to eat. If they don't eat at all. Yes. So that is situation in there. I think since the time it's not about our side, but I think that let me mention aspect concerning physical health, which is very, very challenging. Those people, we say that in spirit you think about that, then God knows your mind. We also pray for you. We pray for those people who have physical challenge within this period.
I would really want to fast, but
yes,
they cannot
God
fast.
should continue guiding them.
we know that it is really not easy to keep to some of those words which we ourselves at times stand in front and then proclaim them. But all we are telling ourselves that Lent is a beautiful period. It is a period where Christian journey, they remember the reason Christ came on earth. If he did not die, we would not have had life, because he went down, he brought us new life, and it is because of that new life we have hope that tomorrow we will meet him face to face and to discuss with him. During this 40 days period, we are telling ourselves that some of those are expectations. Let us struggle to do them, though it is challenging. I know health, like we mentioned here, health can prevent us from meeting some of those are expectations. Even our companies, the people that we keep around us, can also prevent us from meeting our expectation. Even occasions, meetings around, those people that have family gathering this period can hinder us from meeting our expectation. But all we are saying is that take out time, make out time, concentrate, connect during this journey, during these 40 days. If you have not started, you can start now. It is not late for us to journey during this 40 days period. It is not late for us to sit, reflect on the reason why we are journeying, or we are celebrating, or we are journeying through this 40 days period. Our hope at the end of it is that on Easter Sunday we shall all rejoice, knowing that our Father that came to die for us is truly risen from the dead. We wish us a wonderful Lenten season. We say, may we continue journeying throughout this period, and knowing that God, who sees our mind, knows what we are passing through, and may God give us the grace to meet up to our expectation. Let us start this Lenten season within our family. Let us live love. Let us teach them how to do charity. Let us teach people how to pray, and above all, let us stop. Let us also help ourselves. Let us fast from those things, especially those negative things that are preventing us from seeing Christ. I wish us all a wonderful period of Lent. Until then, we leave you with wonderful programs that comes over DMR TV. Till then, see you next week for another rendezvous on the program Issues. Bye.